All right. What is going on, guys? Let's wait a few seconds here for everybody to get in. All right. All right, there we go. Okay. Get the chat up here and then we will get started. Pop out. All right, cool. We are good to go. All right, guys, so we're going to be going over today. Can everybody hear me? Should be good. Should be good here. Just want to make sure that everybody's in real quick. We'll start this up in like 30 seconds. So if you just joined watching a recording, feel free to skip to a couple minutes down the line here. Then we'll get started. All right. So just taking a look real quick. First thing we're going to take a look at is futures. We're going to take a look first at ES on the weekly chart. So we're going to pull up the weekly first on SPY/ES, whatever you prefer using. I always do a chart on ES first, okay? And I think the contracts have changed, so we should be good. Now we got to switch over to here, right? So ESZ is the December contract that we're working with here, right? If we go over to ES, pretty similar, but yeah, because we had the gap up here, right? So if you guys take a look, you'll see a little bit of a difference between these charts, right? Because of that move up. So we're going to be using ESZ for right now. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask during the entire live. It is delayed a little bit, but I will get to your questions, relatively soon. So we'll start out with SPY. Okay. SPY. So today we are looking for pretty much a continuation of this rejection that we had, right? We had this big run up. If you guys are new here, we obviously had this big run up off that 200 MA, right? We had a move back towards the lower end of that all-time high range. So I've been always posting about this range here. This is the first lower high that we had, okay? So I say this, every single time, but this is the first lower high that the market made after coming down for the first time, right? Technically, it could be here, I guess, right here, but right even with it was definitely right here, okay? So lower high, and then obviously we continue to make lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high, right? But then we made a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and now we are sitting at the same scenario where we made a higher low, but now a lower high, okay? So this is a little concerning area here now because we made a lower high, okay? And we rejected off of that first lower high that we had back in March 22, okay? So now when we dive deeper and look at the, daily or even the 4-hour chart, right? When you take a look at the 4-hour chart, we had a deep sell-off the middle of August, right? We had this deep sell-off here. Now, if you take from those highs and draw down to those lows here, right? When you come across, you'll see that we rejected right at the golden pocket, which is the exact area. The same way how I said that all-time high range, right? Remember when I said that range of all-time highs and we held here and then we made a lower high, right? So when we look at this, ignore that for right now, right? when you look at this area here, the weekly, right? When you look at this area right here on the weekly, this is the range, right? And then we made that lower high here. So now when we look at the smaller time frame, right, we're looking exactly the same as we did there, okay? And that's going to be this range, right? This range that we had here, hit the lower end, came up, and now rejected, okay? So we came up again, faded the entire move, broke down. OPEX is always going to be a fuckery week. There's always going to be a lot of moves in both directions. Usually doesn't make a big move or show the true move till Thursday, Friday, which of course we got Friday. So, you know, if you were faked out this week, I can see why, but if you held your conviction strong, you know that Friday's the real move, right? So we're basically looking for some type of move back down below this level here. And then, you know, again, on the daily, we'd be looking for a move down, right? Pretty much if we break the support, it would probably go down to these lows, 435 or so. Now, when you look at the weekly, that lines up perfectly with this 20 EMA. If bulls want to hold that, this would be a key level for them to hold at this point, right? This is what the momentum indicator is when you are riding a trend. Okay, if you stay above that, usually you're going to trend higher if you chop around it or so. You want to wait for that clear signal move, right? But once you have a clear breakout like this, you know, we broke out of this VPOC. This is the highest point of volume on the entire chart of the S&P since 2021, middle of 2021. So above here and above the 20 EMA, we trended up, came back down, trended up. So now if we do break down this 20 EMA, this is where we will be looking for a rollover, okay? And that's where I'll be looking again to hold to my targets, right? Because we're already in shorts, but we're looking for, you know, a breakdown, okay? We'd love to see the market get back down towards here, right? And if we take the previous low, this is the last low that we had to this last high, it lines up exactly with that golden pocket, right? The 618 right here. Okay, if we want to make a higher low, if we want to make a higher low, right, when we zoom in on the super smaller time frames, not super smaller, but the daily, for instance, right, when we're on here, we're looking at that same level, right? So if we bounced from this low to this high, if we go down towards here, 439, okay, when you zoom out, where is that 439 to 437? It's going to be exactly where this 20 EMA comes up to, okay? So this should curl over to here and be something, you know, somewhere around this area here. So that's what I'm talking about when I say that we might have a move back up off of that level. But for right now, I'd be looking definitely for a short below this level, just to at least 439, which is 1% down, if not more pain from there, okay? So that's what I'll be looking for this week, at least Monday, Tuesday, to start off markets. Let's take a look at QQQ next, and then we'll go over news for the week. So QQQ is somewhat of a similar scenario here too. QQQ, we're basically holding that same kind of level, right, back from the beginning of September, right? SPY did the same thing here, right? Right here we had that low. QQQ held up a little bit better, but still pretty weak as well. So we know that tech can drag the market down, so we need to be careful and watch to see if, you know, we'll see that 1-2%. You know, pretty much it seems at least like when we have sell-offs, usually tech is about double or like 1.5 or so the move that the S&P does, and that's just because most of the market now is just tech itself. So, you know, you'll see to that level that we want down to here, it's probably about 2%, right? So that same golden pocket, right, is down here about 2%, a little bit more, a little bit less, 1.6 or so. So, you know, again, 2% drop. We're looking for this 364 this week, and then from there we'll decide if we're going to break back up above here, 380, or head to the lows. You know, again, I have a bias. I have a opinion that we will head back down towards these lows here. But of course, I'm going to play what the chart gives me. Just because I post it doesn't mean I'm doing that, right? I tell you guys everything that I'm always doing. So this is something I am doing. I am looking for this move definitely towards this 365. And then we'll reassess from there to see if our our thesis, to go back to these lows is still valid. Okay. It just depends on what's happening live each day and day in and day out, right? At the end of the market, the number one thing always, guys, is the weekly close. The weekly close, right? If you looked at this weekly close on Thursday, it was right up here, right? You'd say this is about a breakout of this trend and go to the moon, right? That's what everybody really thought, right? And then we saw a breakdown here at the end of, here, right? At the end of the week, right? And we got this candle. Delete these. We got this one candle here to erase this entire move that we had here, right? So that's why it's super important to wait for weekly closes when you're swinging. I wait until even if I'm doing a swing on the daily chart, right? I wait till 350 or 355 to get in any swings sometimes. Otherwise, if I get a good entry during the day, I'll maybe put a stop loss if it closes the day, below or above wherever I'm shorting or longing. But again, you always have to wait for that daily close when you're swinging. So this is how I'm always usually able to find the best success, is by waiting for that weekly close. Because everything else is just noise. You don't know what the market's going to do. On a weekly time frame how much it moves, what can happen, especially when you have news, etc. Okay. So that's SPY and ES. Going into this week, we have a little bit of news, nothing too crazy. Monday, Tuesday, pretty much, bullshit. Home builder confidence index. Maybe we'll see a little bit. Housing numbers should move the market a little bit. We'll see if rates are affecting housing sales. I know that there was a couple articles about real estate market coming down a bit, so we'll see there. But the biggest thing is Wednesday, right? Obviously, we have the interest rate decision and Powell. Okay, so he's been relatively dovish the past few meetings. The last one, it was a little bit hawkish, right? But I think the market was relatively flat. To be honest, I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that one. But this one, we could see the effects of rates really starting to set in now. Usually when they started changing rates, you're not going to see anything dramatic until 3 to 6 months. So, we're hitting that time frame now where we can see a difference and see what happens. So it'll be interesting to see what he says at 2 on Wednesday. Then, of course, we have jobs Thursday, home sales, and a couple economic indicators, right, for the U.S. So Friday, we have PMI again, same as last week, and then we'll continue from there. Week after, we got PCE, Friday, Thursday jobs, so consumer confidence. So the week after, the last week of September is actually going to be the safest week besides into Friday. In terms of swinging things, right? Just purely on technicals. So this week is pretty much just going to be safe Monday, Tuesday, and then into Wednesday. That'll be the big move for the end of week. Okay. So again, yeah, we're just looking for a 1-2% move down. If Powell is hawkish, then we will look for a further decline. But we'd like to see some continuation here, right? We'd like to see something like what we've had prior, with a 1 or 2% move following a 1.5% move down, something of that sort. But again, play it by day. Wait for a nice hourly or 4-hour close below this 370 or 369.50 level, and it should be a safer short for the rest. But that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna go over a couple picks I have, but before that, let me see if you guys are saying anything here. If you look at the Qs too, this is QQQ, so I'm not too sure what you mean. Implied volatility going into FOMC is juiced for options, and the moves can be hit or miss. Would you recommend just avoiding trading FOMC? New trader. How I like to trade FOMC is I trade before it, 0 dates usually, or tomorrow I'll trade Tuesday contracts. And then if you want to trade FOMC, just wait for it and trade Fridays, or trade even trade a month out contracts. That's going to be your safest bet if you really want to, because at least then if you're right, you can at least hold the position too, knowing that it's probably going to continue in your favor if the daily closes whichever way you took that position to go. All right, so you guys are asking for Tesla, but before we get into that, I want to go over a couple names that I like for a short. Okay, so first thing is going to be AI. I really think this bubble's popping a little bit here. I think AI, this weekly that we basically had for the week, it's basically, obviously this earnings was terrible. We had to down, but, if you didn't include this earnings move down, it's essentially just going to be a giant bear flag, right? You have this huge move down, or bear pennant, excuse me, right? So you have this huge move down. You got this rectangle, whatever, rectangle, pennant, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I think they're all technically the same bullshit, right? You're basically looking at some type of flagging play or rectangle playing out here, right? And then a move back down towards this 200 MA. So I like AI a lot here. And if you take a look at the weekly, it is at a very key level too, this support here, and it bounced here, but it just consolidated pretty much at the lower end, right, of that last bar. So I think we will get a move back down towards that 25 range. So I'm watching AI heavily this week. AVGO I like also. These chip stocks I think are going to come down a pretty penny. We have here obviously a major support that's kind of been holding up for AVGO. It's holding this 850 or so level. I think I already got in some shorts right around. Well, I know I'm in some shorts, but got in around this 846, 847 or so level. So I'm looking for a continuation into October. I want to see a rollover back towards the 790 or so. And if it does end up running down below here, this is going to be a major juicer back down to this 750 or 760 range or so, right? So we'll see that 200 MA come up, meet us somewhere around there as well. So looking for that, if the market is if hawkish on if Powell's hawkish on Wednesday, and if we see a good move Monday, Tuesday, or at least Wednesday's close into that. So that's what I'm watching so far. Some other thing. What else did I have here? Something I do like possibly for dead cat bounce for a possible short is Disney also, right? It looks like a really good short here too. Obviously had a giant dead cat bounce here, right? Hitting a major level. This is where it had that terrible week or terrible day, 4% down, right? And then we had another gap. So right now we've basically filled that move back up. And we're hitting that VPOC, same thing that I was talking about before, right? We're retesting that weekly breakdown level. So liking Disney for a potential short on that as well. Disney and Marvel. So these are going to be all chip stocks. Same thing, again, I'm just pretty much picking out all these chip names that I think are going to start to come down a bit, especially when we get if we get a hawkish Powell, like I said. So looking for this gap fill down to the 200 MA, really looking for a lot of names that have been, overbought and held up at these propped up number levels, right? That should have some comeback to reality for around that 200 MA grab. So this is a good one too that I'm looking to short below here, about a 10% move. So that will be a good one to have on the watch list as well. So Marvel, you guys got AI and AVGO as well, okay? Disney as well too. So that's what I'm looking for here. If you want to look longs, I do like Shop. I think Shop could possibly have something here if it doesn't break down this 20 MA and 50 MA. I shorted it last week. We made out pretty well on that. It held up here though, however, right at that 62 level, pretty much right here, that 50 MA and 20 EMA, right? So if it breaks down here, I'll short it back down to 60. If not, we're basically looking at a clear break up here of this flag, okay, to the upside. I don't like NVIDIA also. I don't like NVIDIA, don't like AVGO, same bucket for me. All right, let's see what you guys are saying. How about Tesla? Yeah, so we'll take a look at Tesla. I already have this drawn out. Great, awesome. This is what I'm looking at on Tesla. I'm already in shorts for Tesla too. Looking for a move down out of this pretty much symmetrical triangle. It's a little bit, I guess if you want to connect these here, right, it kind of looks like a wedge, but had a decent close on Friday. Didn't really break down as much as the rest of the market, right? Only 0.6%. So we'll see if there's anything coming out of China, if we'll roll over. We'll roll over or not back to fill this gap down. Otherwise, if it breaks above 280, that's signs to stop out. So that would be that. BABA. BABA, there's just nothing here for me. I like playing BABA, but the weekly is so bearish, it looks like shit. Normally I would long this, right? But I'll probably wait for some type of reversal candle down here. Netflix play. I mean, this one I'm already in. This is just fucking the easiest one too. If you guys are in the chat, this is just the easiest shit ever. It's a weekly, just close below the 20 EMA. It's been riding this forever, you know, for the past couple months. It just closed below. It's just an easy short. I think it's just, this is one of the most clear as day trades, right? Back down to 380. I mean, this is just really one of the most clear things, I think. Clean and cut. Close below that low that we had mid-August, right? So if we break down this 395, yesterday's low, it's just straight to 380s for me. So it's going to be a bagger for sure. Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft dog shit too. I hope you guys aren't like making me look at these to say like, I hope he says that there's hope. But same thing here, right? 20 EMA broke down, closed below that 20 EMA. That's your Momo indicator. You know, as long as it holds here, still bullish. But if we get that close below 330, we'll see more downside. I actually had some shorts on this, I think the past week or two. Got chopped up, didn't do well on those at all. It was in this 3% range, you know, ended up not doing anything. I think I had 330 and 327.50. So unfortunately just went up 2% and chopped around for the past 2 weeks. So sadly didn't get anything out of that. But, you know, playing December is always going to be the safest play for that. But now it looks really good again to break down here. So how about AMD longs? Again, I don't know if you guys are just... There's nothing about a candle like this that should tell you look at a long. All right, there's literally zero reason to me, right? You can have this level marked, right? You can have this say, oh, this is the previous resistance, now support. This is where we bounced before. Yes, but until you get a 4-hour close or a daily close that looks bullish, until you get a candle like this, right? You see this candle right here? That's basically this. All right, so if we get this tomorrow, then sure, take a long and then put your stop loss below here. It's super easy to trade the daily because all you do is you just close the trade if it breaks below wherever you entered. Like that's the easiest way to do it when you're trying to get a perfect reversal like this. Otherwise, you know, if you're scaling into a position, it's going to be a little bit different. Apple. Yeah, I think Apple had some good news the other day or yesterday, or maybe even today, like about their sales in China. So might be up a little bit. Not too sure. We're gonna have to see how Chinese markets open, right? But Apple for me is sitting basically at, you know, a little life support level here. This 173 or so. When you look at the weekly, it's a heavy support for sure. You know, it's that previous all-time high, end of the range, right here. And it's a big range, right? It's going to be 180 to 174 or so. But, I mean, fuck, it's Apple, right? So it's going to have a decent amount of buying pressure probably there. But, again, if you lose this level here, you know, I'm looking for a 50% retracement. So that's down to 160. So I'm really looking for here. If not, you know, I want to see for sure this week 169. LMT short. Yeah, so this isn't a candle I short. Again, you don't want to short a candle that's like a doji like this. This is a reversal candle. All right, so if you ever see something like this, it's usually a reversal candle. Probably could break down, you know, because if the market's still bearish, right? But essentially, you're coming back down. There's not too much room. I guess this is a decent amount, but, you know, 4.5% down to that 200 MA. This is where your big support is, right? You take a look right here. That's going to hit that level there, which is 4. I guess it's still a pretty ways down, right? So it's another 1%. So this 400 level probably will come back into play, which is right above, you know, that 200 MA. So, yeah, just watch out there. I'm not sure when they have earnings or if they did. Yeah, they did. So, yeah, you know, the daily looks a little bit like a cup here. Could do a handle and pop back up, but this was a very ugly close. All right, we'll do Amazon and a couple more, and then that'll be it, guys. So Amazon was the strongest in class here. Congrats if you guys are in longs. There was a lot. I think there was a big rotation from Apple to Amazon, and they did it very well, right? We popped back up above that earnings move up, and now we're basically sitting right where it closed, you know, roughly at earnings. So same thing. This could be just a giant little cup almost and handle, and then a pop up right at the 20 EMA right here. But again, that last daily close was ugly. It was the biggest volume that we've had since July 21st, besides earnings, right? So the only time we have that type of volume is earnings, right? Or a big move down, like you can see here. Okay. And this wasn't even a big move down, right? This day, actually, there was a ton of volume, but it was bought up all the way. So this was a different scenario. We had a lot of selling pressure and a big move down, 3%. We already did Apple. We already did NVIDIA. So you can rewind back. Home Depot, this looks good for a short too, right? If you want to take a swing below this level, put your stop above like 323. If it closes there on the daily, take it out. Yeah, this one looks pretty good. Maybe back down to 315. Somewhere here, 315, 313. And yeah, that's it pretty much, guys. Let's take a look real quick at like the Russell and the Dow. The Russell, so this is, small caps. Taking a look on the weekly, same thing, kind of looks shit. The weekly is like a giant bear flag, right? Like, I mean, the monthly is for sure, right? You look at this, you just say to yourself, like, look at this thing. This is just about to fucking fall off a cliff, man. Like, come on, right? Just go down. So, that's what I'm looking for there on the Russell for small caps, and then the Dow. The Dow's holding up. The Dow's holding up relatively well. Let's zoom into the weekly chart, right? The only thing that's concerning is it did reject this GP also here, right? So this high to this low. So probably will come back down towards this 20 EMA, but the Dow's been holding up very well. I think it's strongest in class of the indices. So we'll see what happens there. I already did Baba. I already did Tesla. I didn't do Meta. You're right. I'll do Meta, and then that's it. Meta. What do I have drawn from where? Meta. What is this from the low? Yeah. So all-time high to the lows recently. Hit the upper end of the GP. Rejected. Same thing, guys. All these stocks are pretty much the same thing. These large caps, right? Indices. The all-time high, the previous range that it was in. So you look from when it broke out, right? 2020 broke out here to that all-time high, right? This is the range that it was in here, right? And then it had a capitulation down, okay? So now when we came back up to retest the bottom end of that range, this is where we're at, okay? So, and then when you draw it on the smaller time frame like this, like here to here, we rejected the GP. So again, everything just had a bearish weekly close. There's no reason too long. I think we'll see a big move down if we don't get a Powell rescue, right? So still holding a lot of shorts. The stops are easy. If you're even, the easiest way to play a lot of this market is rather than, if you guys are using, if you don't want to risk more than $200 on your stop loss, there's different ways you can do that. You can take a $200 play and just hold it to zero. It's the same thing if it's far enough out and it can hit as taking a $1,000 play with a 20% stop loss, right? So, different people say different shit, Twitter, social media, Instagram, whatever. The easiest way, guys, to play in the market is always going to be to use different strategies that fit you, okay? That could be using a stop with a bigger, safer position, using a riskier position with no stop and the same risk, right? Or a mix of the two, okay? So it's just going to depend on what you guys like to do. Here you go, Clay. I'll give you that. It's super easy. You guys are shooting out stuff. All right, what time is it? 8:01. All right, I'll do 2 minutes more. That's it, okay? That's it. So FSLR, I don't even trade this, man. First Solar, it looks like shit. Yeah, weekly close down here. It looks like it's going to break down, right? I mean, it already did. We broke this. As soon as we broke that, it was game over, GG. But it has a big support here, right? So I don't know. That's way back in 2010. I don't even know if that's valid. So I don't know. I don't have a comment here. I don't like it. Moderna. Moderna had a big move up. Moderna probably will get a pop into the end of the year. You have to think about vaccines and all that bullshit that they're saying, right? Moderna will probably get a move up into the winter as people get sick and all that bullshit. So you'll see healthcare stocks, they usually perform decently well going into the end of the year, right? But at the end of the year, it just depends on what happens, right? So you'll see here like October into November, big move up, right? So we'll see what happens. Next one is Boeing. Someone asked, also looks like shit, but it just had a terrible fucking month, right? So we could see a move up off of the end of this flag. It's basically just retesting this right here, right? So something like that at the GP. Not sure. I'm staying away from that. It doesn't move enough lately for me. Took forever to come out of here, so you'll probably see it hold up. CVNA, guys, I don't play this stuff. I don't play stuff that moves like dramatically, too much at least. No comment here. No comment. Riot. I'm just gonna blow through all these. Riot. Long above 11, short below 1030. There you go. Boom. AMD. I think I already did that. AMD, yeah, I already did it. Looks like shit. If it doesn't have a daily doji like this tomorrow, then short it. Biogen. PIIB. Are you praying or what? Because you need some prayers. This one's about to fucking go to the COVID ashes if it doesn't hold here. You're looking at a fucking nasty move down. Yeah. Pick mine. What did you say? Upstart? Okay. Also looks pretty bad, but there was faith on Friday holding up here, right, at the lows. So we'll see what happens. Because if it holds up here and it gets back towards that 32, 33, then you're all right. Big support. You can long it with a stop below these lows, but I won't be looking for longs unless Wednesday's good. WBA. Dude, I don't know. I'm not going to chart this. You're crazy. Buy shares. Here you go. You can buy shares if you like it. Put your stop loss below 20. You guys are crazy picking shit like this. I hate charting shit. Dog shit. Affirm. Affirm's just going off. If you got in at the lows, great. If you didn't, no entry for me. Do I do this daily? No. Do this once a week on Sundays. Burke B. It's at all-time highs. You want me to give you a target if they keep going? Probably the 236. So 386. It's target. That's it. All right, I'm not going to chart out bullshit because like I said, I don't like to just do random shit. I give you guys what I think is good. Try to make the videos and the recording for people watching it again as to the point and helpful as possible. I'm not going to pull out bullshit. Anything that's high liquidity is mostly what we're looking at. So hopefully you guys learned a lot in the beginning. We'll be posting some more stuff. Definitely check out the channel. I'll be uploading a lot more videos. So if you guys can like and subscribe, appreciate you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow. All right. If you guys are in the chat, if anybody wants if everybody wants to join, feel free to click the link in the description below. Join that bot. You can use the code 100OFF. Okay, 100 off, one word. And you'll be able to join into the monthly chat with us where I post all the signals for you guys day in and day out, as well as our challenge account. So you guys have a great rest of your Sunday night. Let's go Dolphins and catch you guys later. Deuces.